All right, let's go ahead and get started. 1 hour about motivation, meditation, and inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. Let's go ahead and take a quick sip. Creatine. So let's go ahead and start talking about focus. So the first part is focus. How can we start to focus? How can we start to put ourselves in a place where we can take the situations that we're going through and turn them into positivity? How can we take the things that are happening around us and put us in a place where the positivity starts to have effect on our day? So are you with yourself? Are you in your place? Are you in your challenges? Are you going through the things that you're going through and not allowing them to affect you? Are you putting yourself in that kind of a place where you're okay with being yourself? And so that's where focus starts to become a foundation. So in meditation, we start by crossing our legs. And the reason why we start by crossing our legs is the first pain that we overcome is the ability of focus. The ability to put ourselves in a place where the challenges that we face off against are less from the outside than what's going on inside. So I'm going to start talking about some stories about how we can start to identify this, how we can start to put ourselves in that kind of a place where the external reflection starts to come from our own level of focus. So when we start to recognize that the challenges that we have on the outside are directly related to the place that we have going on the inside, we start to recognize that the person that we are is sufficient, that the challenges that we're going through on a daily basis are made for us. And so as we start to get to that place, we start to utilize the tools that we have. And so as you have less, you actually have more. As you have more challenges in front of you, the simpler the challenges start to become. So as we start to put ourselves in that kind of a place, as we start to recognize, as we start to realize that it doesn't matter what's going on around us, it's what's going on inside of us. As we start to focus in on the positivity, as we start to put ourselves in a place where what we're utilizing is coming from within who we are. So a lot of times we're going to fail because we are not perfect. What matters is that we get back up. What matters is that we put ourselves in a positive place and a positive mentality. We put ourselves in a place where the challenges that we face off against that might have been here from days, weeks, months ago no longer have an effect over ourselves. So are you putting yourself in that place? Are you starting to get those challenges out of your way so that you can be who you are? And so one of the tools that allows us to do that is to actually speak who you are. Speak your mind. Put yourself in a place where you're absolutely honest with yourself, where what is coming out is radiating outwards from your level of focus, from your own journey. So when we start to do this, we start to recognize that what we have to overcome is the outside. It's not the inside. It's okay that things around us fail. Failure is a step to success. Failure is the ability to overcome things that might have been thought as impossible. What is not okay is to not get back up. It's not okay to not put yourself in a place where you are asking yourself this question: is this failure bringing me closer to success? Is this challenge that I'm taking on today moving out of the way because I'm going through it? There have been times in martial arts history where it was almost if the person punched themselves. The person that was throwing the punch had a mastery over it, and there's a place called the pullback punch. The punch that actually punches as a pullback, that actually the pulling back force was so great that the frontwards force was letting itself do it. It was letting itself become it. Are you so focused that you can pull to the place where your absorption starts to work for you? Where the challenges that you start to face off against, you go straight through. That the challenge itself moves out of the way for you. So that's when we start to recognize that the tools are important. That's when we start to recognize that the challenges that we face off against on a daily basis come down to us overcoming our challenges. Blessings. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sure. So we're talking about focus right now.
Focus.
So where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Netherlands.
Blessings.
Thank
Blessings.
you. And blessings upon you too.
So we're talking about how at a certain point focus becomes such a thing that the things that are not meant for you move out of the way. That the things that are there are able to make us a student of this universe.
You know, the thing about focus, what I think about focus is it's easier said than done.
Oh, most definitely. 100%. It's interesting. There's martial artists out there, they spend their whole life trying to perfect, their form. When realistically, the most important thing is the ability to let it do it itself.
I would agree in a way, but also I think there has to be a stimulation from within yourself or an external stimulation for
Sure.
you to pursue.
Well, using the tools in the universe, using what you have available to you.
But the thing is, the universe gives you signs. So, in order to focus, you have to, I don't think you can do it on your own without having a sign first.
You can. It requires recognizing at a certain level, though. You could put yourself in a room and you can achieve high levels of success. It can be done.
Okay. And what kind of fields would you like to focus on?
So, here's the thing. I meditated for almost 8 years. I still do meditation. And I have been through a lot of things to where I want other people to be uplifted, such as yourself. So, what kind of challenges have you gone through that focus has worked for you?
My challenges mainly consist of my work field and my previous education. I think that's, up until my life, those are the places where the greatest challenges of my life have been. So work and education.
Well, let me throw this out there, okay?
Okay.
Finance is just a tool, right? That's just one tool, right? However, most of the billionaires on the face of the planet didn't even finish high school.
It's true, but these people are very, very talented.
So what this tells me is that focus is the foundation. In fact, Bill Gates went to a dinner that his mother helped him get to. This was per Dane Payne. This is a story that he explained. He explained that he went to a dinner where he asked Warren Buffett, his mom got Warren Buffett to go for him, right? And he sat down at this dinner with other people, and he asked, what's the major piece of success? Do you know what he said it was?
Focus.
You got it. So there are many speakers out there that teach the stories. You got Eric Thomas, you got Les Brown, you got Grant Cardone, you got Tony Robbins. They analyze in different ways these types of things. Even people that, there's a speaker who owns the Rocket Stadium. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to tell you is that they all recognize one thing. Focus is the foundation to achieving anything. The person who is willing to focus when other people would just quit achieves their dreams.
I agree.
So this means that It's more so about equipping yourself with the tools, not the education. That's a tool. It's not about the tools that you don't have. It's about the tools that you do have. That's why when I dropped out of high school and I sold cars for Chrysler, everyone that I was selling cars against wasn't outselling me with cars. I was outselling everybody that I was working with while I was working for Chrysler for 2.5 years. And people would come in there and say, oh, I have a master's degree, and they wouldn't even sell 4 cars in a day.
Yeah.
So it isn't about that. It's about what you have inside of you. It's about what you use inside of you. And what I talk about every single day, I do 30 minutes of focus before I start talking about meditation, which is an internal journey.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, it's more about the practical skills and experience.
Well, we got to be patient with ourselves too. One of the biggest things that people don't recognize is that focus is internal. It means that when you write stuff down, the universe starts to use you as a tool. The mastery of being used as a tool creates a foundation. So for the rest of that to become possible requires focus. And you have simplicity, and the simpler that you make something, the better it works, right?
Yeah.
So if we simplify to where the internal breath gets down to that place where we start to master the tools that we have on the outside, to where when it's a positive or a negative, where the universal law, Newton's third law, starts working in your favor because focus is a foundation, what happens? You identify with negative and positive as both a positive. It's when failure turns into success.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
But that's
well said.
But that requires one to become a student. The internal breath is important. But that requires the first steps. The first step of doing that is realizing what you do have is what's important. And that means the ability to write stuff down, the ability to speak it out, the ability to say to other people that they can do it, that others would see that reflection outwards as motivation, that they would actually see that kind of reflection outwards from within themselves. And so that's where these tools start to become handy for you. You know, when it gets simplified down to you versus you, when it's no longer you versus somebody else, when the blessings inside of you start to radiate outwards. And so that's where it all starts. It all starts with that place. It starts with that single student's focus, with that student getting to that place inside of themselves. And so practicing focusing, putting yourself in a place where you're putting positive things, when you're identifying with everything could be turned into a positive, that you can actually take things and put them in such a direction. And that's what I was talking about. It's almost like when a martial artist gets to a place where they no longer have to throw the punch, that the punch comes backwards, and that the universe goes straight through it. It's like the person throws the punch at themselves. That is the place where the universe starts to utilize you as a tool. It starts to utilize the challenges that you face off against. It starts to see that you can do this. And so when you no longer have to fight, but the actual fight is coming through you, that you are actually going through things, that the challenges that are in front of you are driving you, that they're actually bringing you to a place where you start to utilize the tools that you do have. And so, yes, it's okay to have a high education. It's not okay to not utilize what you do have. It's not okay to stop yourself from allowing the universe to allow you to pull back to where the universe does the punch for you. And so that's where utilization of focus starts to become in handy. So the person who is so focused and so determined, that is why the things in the universe start to move out of the way for that person. It starts to get to a place from within where the lights around you are other people seeing how the Most High is working through you. And so when you see that happening on a daily basis, when you see that happening on a weekly basis, the blessings that start coming your way are magnified. I mean, these types of challenges that we face off against today are no different than yesterday. They're no different than the day before yesterday, the week, the month, or even 1,000 years ago. And there have been people that have found a way to move the universe out of that way, even at the days of the Egyptians. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that light in this universe is utilizing you. It is asking you the question. It gauges you. It asks you, can you do this? Can you achieve this? Can you overcome these kinds of challenges? And that's the place where it starts. It starts within you. It starts with you. And so that doesn't require somebody else to do it for you. It requires you to find it inside of yourself. It requires you to see that you are a blessing, that the Most High created you as a tool, that it requires you to see the light inside of yourself. And so that is when the things that are not meant for you move out of the way. And so that's why the people who know and utilize the tools in this universe, it isn't about somebody else or somebody else's degree. It is about the degree that you have inside of yourself. If you ask yourself, how many years have you been alive? Let me go ahead and ask you a better question. How many years have you been focusing? How many years have you been putting yourself in a place where what you write down becomes a dream, where it becomes a possibility, where it becomes a commitment, where what you have inside lights up this world? What is it going to take for other people to start to call you strong, to start to see that you have that is your level of determination? It's going to require that focus. And that is the reflection that other people will see. They will see you as determined. They will see you as a light in this universe. And it doesn't matter. You can go get somebody with a PhD and a person who has dropped out and absolutely lost everything. And I will put the bet on the one who lost everything over the person who got the PhD. And the reason why I'll do that is because they're willing to pick up a broom. They're willing to sweep the floor. They're willing to get down with themselves. They're willing to face off against their own challenges. Because it's never about what they have. It's about what you got and what you do with what you got. So if you give me $1, I'm going to make $2, $3 off of one. If you put me in a mindset, in a place, if you put me in a room, I'm going to start creating videos. If you put me outside, I'm going to start running. If you put me in a place next to a lake, if you put me in a desert, it doesn't matter. I will manifest that through focus. And I want to teach you that. I want to put you in a place where stable ground is you. I want to put you in a place where you see what I'm talking about. And that is a place where you wake up every day as a lion. That is a place where you start to utilize the tools that you have inside of yourself. That you start to dominate your diet. That you start to dominate your day. That you start to see that meditation is possible. Because I have reached out to a lot of groups that don't see that the focus mentality is the able mentality. That they don't see that doing one thing very well is what it's about. And that's what it's about. It's about doing you very well. It's about you seeing that this focus is an absorption. That you actually get to the place where you are with you. Where you start to utilize the incoming energy. Where that focus starts to utilize the things like writing stuff down. Like putting yourself in a place where you're listening to positivity. Where you're speaking it out. Where you're listening to motivation. Because it's focused. That the focus is what you're looking for as the reflection in those people. You're looking to see that reflection coming out of you. You're looking to see their level of mastery. You're looking to see when other people would quit, are you continuing? And I'm telling you, when I got people lined up out the door, I'm going to tell them the same thing. I'm going to tell them it's going to be a fight. I'm going to tell them it's going to be them versus themselves. I'm going to tell them They got to get up on their own. They got to put their emotional exercise at check. They got to put themselves in a place where they are so focused that it ain't about somebody else. It ain't about anybody else when it's you versus you. It ain't about somebody else down the street. It ain't about your boss when you're at work. It ain't about your mother when you're at home. It ain't about your brother when you're in a place of your mind. It's about your level of focus and your mastery over yourself. It ain't even about your companion when it's you versus you. They get to see that kind of light coming out of you. They get to see that kind of place of reflection coming out of you. What I'm talking about is a fight with yourself. Have you gotten in a fight with yourself to where you can overcome that? Where the little man inside of you gets up and picks up that big ego and drops it out the door, because what you have is you. When you get down with that person inside of yourself, when you get to the place where it doesn't matter what other people think, what matters is what's going on inside of you. Are you in that place where the light is lighting up from your strength, where that focus that other people are seeing is radiating as a reflection of strength, as a reflection of determination, as a reflection of the process? Are you enjoying the process of getting there? Are you putting yourself in the place where nobody else can stop who you are? And that's what I see with those people out there. I see the people that are ball busters, breaking down walls, because they're going to say what they're going to say, they're going to be who they're going to be, and they're going to do what they're going to do. They literally get down to the person inside of themselves. And this is for you if you feel like you're down on the ground. This is for you if you feel like you can't do this. It ain't about somebody else. Nobody else is going to pick you up for yourself. Nobody else is going to say that you can do this except for yourself. You might get all the education in this world, but I've seen a lot of people who don't utilize it. I've seen a lot of people who only achieve little. I've seen a lot of people who won't achieve where I am going to go. And that level of focus is like that. It's like that punch back. It's like that punch that the universe goes through because it comes at me. And as it comes at me, I recognize that I have it within me. And so the question I have for you is, do you have it within yourself? Do you have it within yourself where the punchback moves everything that anyone else would say out of the way so that you can come through? Because that is a royal thing. We are all kings and queens in this universe. But we got to utilize it in such a way that this universe moves around us. It starts to move around us to a way that we dominate it. That we dominate our breath. That we dominate the simplicity within oneself. That we walk on the face of the planet. That this thing is a place of dominating your day, your week, your month, your year, even your minute. Are you up with yourself? Are you putting yourself in check? Are you putting yourself in the place where the focus is coming out of you? Where it is a fight against yourself? Are you with you on this fight? Are you on this path with yourself? Are you in this kind of light? This is something that you got to ask yourself. This is something that you got to get down with yourself. And other people will call you reflections, and there'll be both types. There'll be positive and negatives. It's up to you to see the positivity in every situation. Do you see what's happening around you? Do you see what's going on within you? Are you utilizing it when other people would just give up? Because that's what it's about. You're on a fight of your life. This world will kick you to the ground and keep you there. It won't let you up unless you're willing to put yourself in that place where you achieve it on your own. And I'm telling you, failure is a step to success. Every time we fail, we achieve failure. We achieve on failure until we succeed. Until we achieve things that others wouldn't achieve. Until we can do things that others wouldn't do. Until we can get to a place where the light inside of us radiates outwards. Where the focus inside of us creates a drive. Where that punch back lets the universe put us through. Where we actually go through with the whole being. Bruce Lee was asked one time, how do you throw a punch? You put the whole being into it. He answered it. He answered it in one sentence. Are you putting your whole being into it? Are you putting yourself into a place where the light inside of you radiates because it is a result of your level of focus? Are you on your foundation? Are you on your grind? Ask yourself this type of question. Ask yourself if you can become that kind of light, if you can radiate that kind of turbulence, if you can create a way where the focus becomes an absorption. As the focus becomes the absorption, you put yourself at an advantage of having yourself as a student. As you put yourself with the focus, you put yourself at a place where the tools work in your favor, where the universe has the ability to test you, where the challenges that you go through are made for you. And so that's when we start to answer our own question. Is focus important? And definitely it is. It is the foundation of an able mentality. That is the answer. Focus is a foundation to an able mentality. And so if you want to become a reflection of motivation, get focused. If you want to become a reflection of motivation, get to a place where other people are calling you that. Let other people call you strong. Let other people call you determined. You call yourself focused. Get to the simplicity where you are on your grind, where you are on your path, where you are on your journey, where you're achieving things where you don't need somebody else to do it for you. There has been a saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make a horse drink the water. Do you see this process? Do you see this type of thing? Even the horse understands it must focus on drinking the water to stay alive. Is your breath connected to yourself at that level? Are you on a place on your grind to that place? Are you achieving the simplicity within yourself? Are you hearing what I'm saying? You can achieve things when you get to a place of focus. You can achieve things when you're willing to be yourself, when you're willing to speak your mind, when you're willing to put yourself in a place even when it is difficult. What I'm trying to say is be who you are on the inside. Focus to the point where the things that you want to do become done. And don't take on the tasks that aren't meant for you. Take on the ones that you can achieve, that you can become, and that the failures from the past are lessons to bring you forward. They're meant to bring you to a place where the sun lights up your day and the moon rises at a level of your height. Focus is to see the top of the mountain and to climb the mountain. It's to enjoy the process of climbing the mountain. It's to enjoy the process of writing stuff down. It's to enjoy the process of putting ourselves in a place where the tasks that we do, we achieve. It's to enjoy this kind of focus that I'm talking about. It's to create that kind of foundation. It's to create that kind of a place where what you have inside of yourself is something so determined that other people will start to recognize your level of motivation. And it isn't about what you don't have. It's about what you got inside of yourself and what you do with what you got. So are you using the gifts that you have? Are you using this universe in such a way that you light up this world? That the things that come your way are meant for you? Are you putting yourself in that place where the results are coming from your level of focus, where the results are coming from your place, where the universe is moving aside, where it's moving aside for you to come through? This type of stuff that I'm talking about is Bruce Lee stuff. This type of stuff is the ability to go beyond focus. This is to go to the place where the connection comes within you, where you become a part of the process, where you become a part of the solution, where you become a part of the challenges that you go through on a daily basis. That is a blessing. That is a place of domination. That is a place of you versus you. And that's what matters the most, is that you achieve that within yourself. that you become that person that you write down on paper, that you become that kind of foundation, where that foundation within yourself is a place. And that requires a level of patience. It requires a level of you being the student inside of the classroom of you. And if you want a qualification, ask yourself how many years you've been on the face of the planet. If you can focus, if you have knowledge inside of yourself, if you are a place of discipline, and if you answer back with the question, yes, I am, then ultimately this is for you. This is for you to start getting within yourself, to start breaking down the energy inside of yourself, to start using that able mentality to get to that place inside of you. And so when you start to get down with yourself, when you truly start to get down with the energy inside of yourself, you start to break through things. Those challenges that you start to face off against, you start to overcome. And so the energy fields inside of the human require a focus mentality. It requires an ability to go within oneself, to get to the place where the light inside of you starts to light up. And so when we start to light up the subjects inside of ourselves, when we start to light up the light inside of ourselves, when we start to light up the challenges inside of ourselves, they start to show up in such a way that they move out of the way on their own. They move out of the way because a person whose focus achieves on a daily basis things that others wouldn't achieve. That means knowledge inside of oneself starts to become sufficient. And so when we start to go within ourselves, we start to utilize the tool of focus to heat up the knowledge inside of oneself. And so as that incoming breath comes in, as that incoming student comes in, as that manifested absorption comes in, it starts to ask this universe if you have what it takes. It asks this universe, can you get down with the simplicity of your breath? Can you get to the place inside of yourself where you start to become a reflection on the outside when other people start to call you self-studied? Other people start to call you self-light. Other people start to see that you're starting to gain from that knowledge inside of yourself. That takes patience. That takes you going within yourself. That takes you starting to recognize what I'm talking about is simple. It's absolutely simple to break down the energy fields inside of oneself. It's as simple as getting down with the breath. It's as simple as getting down with the light inside of you, because the light inside of you can light up. It's as simple as having the able mentality to get there. And a lot of people get stopped on that page. It is simple to get to that page. It is simple to get to those challenges. It is simple to extract that kind of light. And that is why the universe has a purpose for people like me. It is to be a light in this universe, to extract the knowledge within oneself. It is a place within oneself that liberates oneself. It is a place within oneself where focus becomes the tool. It becomes the foundation upon where we center ourselves, where we start to get to the place where the student is inside the classroom. Are you inside the classroom with the simplicity of your breath? Are you inside the journey with your light? Are you inside the path with your ability that other people see the light inside of you radiating outwards from your level of focus? And what I'm talking about is an ability to grind to that level. It's the ability to achieve the best in your positions, to achieve the best in your day, to overcome the day before you even do it, before you even go for that run, before you even go through that day. Have you achieved the mastery over this kind of focus? Have you gotten to this place inside of yourself? Have you gotten to this place where the light radiates outwards from within you? And that is where the focus goes inwards. And so when the inwards focus starts to center itself inside of you, then that's where the student and the teacher start to come together. With the simplicity of the center breath, with the simplicity of the energy fields starting to extract the knowledge, which is sufficient within you, that is with the lessons that you've learned on the daily, the weekly, the yearly, the amount of years of knowledge that you have inside of yourself start to come to the table. They start to come to the ability for you to start to face off against them. In this place of liberation, in this place of light, in this place within oneself, we start to find that the tool of focus allows the extraction of liberation. When you are centered within oneself, you start to utilize the extraction like a student reading a book. And so this is where the study starts to begin. This is where the true mastery starts to overcome. This is where the place within oneself becomes light. When one no longer is held to their own opinion, where the knowledge inside themselves is being purified, where the knowledge inside of oneself is freeing oneself, where the knowledge inside of oneself is giving oneself the ability. And at this moment, that's when the universe starts to ask you, can you do this? Can you overcome your own opinion? Can you go into the tunnel within oneself to get to the place where the darkness no longer has a place, where light is nothing but a result of your knowledge? And that is what other people call a light. They see the reflection of your inner knowledge radiating outwards, because the person who's patient enough to be the student inside of their classroom starts to see that knowledge is sufficient within oneself. Knowledge is sufficient to achieve their journey, to go through their path, to go through their light. And so there is a light in each of you. If you can focus, if you have knowledge, you have sufficient light inside of yourself. For each year you are alive, that's how much your qualification is. And so each year we gain in more. We gain more knowledge. We gain more ability to utilize the mastery of simplicity. And so when we start to utilize this and it's centered, then as the external breath goes out, as the breath leaves the body, the lesson stays. The growth goes within. The growth goes to the place inside of oneself where it starts to recognize that even at the first of that learning, it was meant for you. And that means that it is a blessing to be who you are. It is a blessing to connect the focus to the center of you, to get to the place where the external breath is as simple as that. And so are you utilizing that internal? Are you utilizing that external breath? Are you putting yourself as a student inside the classroom of you? Are you allowing this classroom to be a place of discipline, a centering of one's breath, a centering of one's knowledge, a centering of one's focus, where absorption and center and the external breath allows the external breath to become the tests? Because through our day we're going to be tested. Through our week we're going to be tested. Through our ability to go within ourselves, we are going to be tested. It is as simple as breathing. It is as simple as breaking down the light inside of oneself to get to the place where we overcome the pages within oneself, where we read the pages inside of oneself to the point where they tear themselves apart, where the energy inside of oneself becomes a result of the student and the teacher at the level and degree of mastery within oneself, where all we need is ourselves, where the light inside of ourselves radiates outwards, where the light inside of ourselves becomes something great, where the light inside of ourselves becomes something wonderful. And so that is when the connection between focus and the center of oneself reaches the teacher and the test, to allow the breath to become simple. Your breath and your knowledge is sufficient. Your breath, your knowledge, and your centering of oneself is for you. It is for you to see it. It is for it to be possible for you. It is possible within you. It is possible with you. It is possible to become your best friend of your breath. For this to be a classroom where you are the teacher, and for this to be the discipline, and the teacher and the student to be within oneself. And so, when we can see past this, when we can get to this place where knowledge, absorption of knowledge, centers oneself, where the external breath allows this thing to be the discipline, then the reflection outwards becomes that of inspiration. Other people see when you are disciplined with the knowledge and focus within oneself to put the whole self into it, to put the whole being into your day, to put the whole being into your nights, to put the whole being into your challenges, that centering of oneself becomes a blessing, that kind of light radiates in the world, that kind of light is available to you. And so when you recognize that within yourself, when you get to that place where things start moving in your direction, and when the wind starts moving instead of against you, but with you and for you, that's when other people start to become for you. Other people start to become with you. Other people start to go through challenges alongside you. And so this world needs people that can reach this place, that can reach the place where knowledge and focus centers, where we become ourselves. The more people that we have that are being themselves, the more artists, the more singers, the more sculptors, the more workers that we have that are mastering their day. And we need this in our world. We need these type of people. We need these people who uplift other people by being themselves, by being who they are on the inside. And that takes courage. It takes a centering of oneself where we let the things that are not meant for us move out of the way. So as we start to do this, as we start to put ourselves in this place, what other people start to see is their own lights light up. Other people start to see is that what you achieved is possible for them. That what you achieved on a daily basis, they can do too. And if they can do that, you can too. If they can become that, you can too. If they can light up their day, if they can achieve their dreams, if they can find that kind of light in their day, you can too. And so that is what it's about. It's absolutely about you versus you. It's about you finding a way that the light inside of yourself, from focus to centering oneself with knowledge, puts you in the classroom of discipline. It puts you in the classroom of you. It puts you with the ability to leave blessings for other people. It leaves you in the ability to uplift other people. It leaves you in the ability to utilize the challenges and the experiences that you have been through, that other people will see the light inside of themselves radiate. And that's right. It is a blessing for you to see that knowledge is a place within you. That other people will see the reflection of inspiration from you being yourself. That other people will see the challenges that you go through on a daily basis as an ability for you to move forward, for the universe to move behind you as you come through. And so, as you start to come through for yourself, as you start to center yourself, as you start to uplift other people from being yourself, recognize it is possible. It is possible for you to be you. It is possible for you to achieve you. It is possible for you to light up this world and light up this night within you. And so when you start to do this, when you start to become this, when you start to achieve this, it's other people who start benefiting from you. It's other people who start to see that you are yourself. And so when you start to become who you are, there are going to be people who don't recognize you. There are going to be people who are with you and against you, because no one's ever meant to be everyone for them. It is for us to see the positivity in those negative people. It is for us to start to recognize that we can light up their day, we can light up their week, that we can light up their month, that what we have inside is a blessing. And so as we light up other people's day, as we get down to our own challenges within ourselves, as we get to that place where other people start to see you as a light, they will start to see you as an ability. They will start to see you as a earth changer, that the earth below you moves. When they start to see this, when they start to see the tools that you have inside of yourself because you believe in you, when you start to believe in yourself and your ability and the things that you have and the challenges that you face off against, when you start to see this, when you start to achieve this, when you start to get to the place where what you got inside is what it takes, when we start to get down with ourselves, when we start to get down with who we are inside, when we start to become this kind of light on a daily basis, where other people recognize that you are achieving your dreams, uplift those people too. Uplift them with your light. Be honest with yourself. Don't give everything to them. Let them achieve it for themselves. Let them achieve their dreams. Let them achieve their goals. Because as you achieve yours, you want to help them to get to that place for themselves. Recognize that the blessings inside of you are against your own challenges, and that the place that you are is because of who you are and the challenges that you face off against and how you overcame your own challenges. So as we focus to this point, as we get to this place, as we get to these kinds of lights, as we become that kind of light in this universe, other people will see the ripples coming from within you. They will see the ability inside of you. They will recognize you, and they will say, how is it possible for this person? How is it possible for this person to achieve this? And that's going to require focus and knowledge and centering of oneself to overcome your own challenges, to overcome your own ability, to have an ability mentality, to utilize focus as a foundation, to extract the knowledge within oneself that lights up this world. It will light up this day. It will light up the people around you. And the people that will be attracted to the person who achieves this, if it's one person or 1 billion, will see the light within you. And that is sufficient. It is sufficient for you to be you. It is sufficient for you to achieve you. It is sufficient for you to overcome you. It is sufficient for you to become a light in this universe, a blessing in this universe, an ability for other people to see the reflection of inspiration coming out of you. And that is something for them to take with them. When they see the knowledge and the focus centered inside of you, when they see this ability to go within oneself, to become such a light that other people would see them radiating outwards. Can you see that within yourself? Can you achieve that for you? Ask yourself this type of question and start with the simplicity of foundation on focus and knowledge in oneself. Learn from yourself. Learn from the ability to go within you. Learn from the ability to overcome your challenges. Learn from the ability to become that kind of light in this universe. Learn from the ability to become that kind of blessing on a daily. Learn from the ability that other people would call you an inspiration. That when they see you, they see inspiration. When they see you, they see your knowledge and your focus putting your whole being into it. When they see you, they see that the challenges that you face off against, you overcame. When they see you, they see something great. They see something that has left ripples on the face of the planet. That you have moved things to where the whole connection is you. Where the focus and knowledge is centered inside of you. Where you have thrown ripples into this universe.
that have lit up other people's day, that have lit up other people's light, has given them the ability to liberate themselves. When you give yourself that ability, when you give yourself the ability to start with you, when you master one thing first, when you master yourself, when you master your ability to wake up, when you master the ability to make it through the day, when you master the ability to do this one thing well, and become this one thing in this universe, this one special thing that you are, when you light up this world, other people will start to become inspired. Other people will start to see the blessings within themselves. Other people will start to see the light within themselves. Other people will start to see the challenges within themselves. Other people will start to see the ability within themselves. Other people will start to see the prosperity coming to you in this universe. Others will start to see the challenges that you face off against. Others will start to see the blessings that you have. Others will start to see that you are a reflection of inspiration. And that's what I want to achieve. That's what I want you to achieve. I want you to uplift yourself. I want you to uplift your day. I want you to see that it is possible to be you. That it is possible for you to go through the challenges that you have gone through. That the handicaps that you have in front of you, you can overcome. And that the reflection outwards that comes from within you when you put your whole entire being into it, when the whole entire being is connected to it, when the whole entire being is able to go through it, when the whole entire being can do this, when the whole entire being can achieve this, when the whole entire being can become this, that what it takes is you. That ultimately it is within you. That it's ultimately there for you. That what you have inside of you is a blessing. That what you have inside of you is a light. That what you have inside of you is absolutely 100% you. And so when you are a joy to be yourself, when you are a joy to be who you are, the day, the week, the month becomes a joy. It becomes lighter on a daily. It becomes lighter on a weekly. It becomes a place. And when you are inside of you, when you are down with you, when you are going through the challenges that you are going through, when you are going to the place inside of yourself, when your relationship with the Most High is you, when you get that relationship with the Most High and it utilizes you, when that light and that knowledge and that whole entire being is thrown into it, when that whole entire being focuses on one thing very well, then this universe sees the prosperity in you. This universe starts to see that you have what it takes, that you have what it takes to overcome your own challenges, that you have what it takes to become that type of person within yourself, that you have what it takes to get to that place inside of you, that you can do this, that you can achieve, that you can become this, that you absolutely can utilize the foundation of yourself. And it is as simple as being who you are. It is as simply as going through the challenges that you go through on a daily basis. It is as simple as centering oneself. It is when one masters oneself that the light radiates outwards. It is when one masters oneself that they recognize that being patient with oneself is the ability to grow. That being patient with oneself is the ability to go through their own challenges. That being patient with oneself is the ability to get in with oneself. And when you are in with you, when you recruit you, when you get down with you, when you get to the place inside of you, when other people see that person inside of you is your best friend, they start to see that the challenges that you face off against and overcame light up their world. And that is what it's about. It's about uplifting you. It's about you pulling yourself out of that dark place. It's about you pulling yourself out of that ability. It's about seeing the blessings that you have within you and that the things on the outside are there for you. And so when you have things that are working against you, When you see these types of things, recognize that focus and knowledge and the centering of oneself is what truly matters. A centering of oneself to overcome their own challenges. A centering of oneself to get to the place within oneself. A centering of oneself to get to the place where it doesn't matter what's going on around us. It matters what's going on within us. Are you there with you? Are you with you on a daily basis? Are you going through your challenges, using the tools that you have to overcome your challenges to where your discipline is radiating outwards as a reflection of inspiration? Because the intersection between knowledge and focus is you. And that is when you utilize that. And that discipline shows other people the reflection outwards. And when you bleed with inspiration, when you bleed with internal light, when the external comes from within, when the light inside of yourself radiates and it shoots like fireworks lighting up the nights, then the tunnel of you becomes a lighter place. The tunnel of you becomes a greater journey. The tunnel of you becomes your whole self. And when your whole being is in something, the world moves in your direction. And that's what it's about. It's about moving in such a way that you dominate the one thing that you can master, which is yourself. That you can dominate the challenges that you face off against. That you can dominate the things that you go through on a daily basis. That you can become that kind of light in this universe. And that's what it takes. It absolutely takes you having that kind of determination to where you become your best friend, where you become your best light, where you become your best journey, that you become your best friend. And so when you become the best friend of yourself, when your breath and your patience within yourself allows you to study, it allows you to overcome your challenges. It allows you to get to the place within yourself that other people weren't willing to go. When it starts to get to the place within yourself where the light lights up within you, where it gives you the ability to become that kind of blessing, leaves blessings for other people. As always, namaste.